Rodney, on the topic of some of the violence we've been seeing on the streets and then the conventions, some of the aftermath of that, and in particular Trump's acceptance speech, Senator Rand Paul was in the audience, and I'm sure you may have seen this too. But as the audience out of, I believe, the Rose Garden lawn was exiting, they were gently harassed by the mob, in particular Senator Rand Paul, who was scared of it for his life, getting hounded by the mob and as he left. And in response to that, Senator Rand Paul, he appeared on a couple of news programs saying that, I got a quote here, "My feeling is that there is interstate criminal traffic being paid for across state lines. They flew here on a plane. They all got fresh new clothes and they were paid to be here. It's a crime to do that and it needs to be traced." Ronnie, we touched on this, I think, last week of what you think Antifa is. Do you support maybe the federal government looking into who's paying for all this stuff, and if basically could be a conspiracy to commit violence across state lines? Would this be the job of the federal government to look into?
I don't think it's a conspiracy. I still think it's more that loose federation of people who want to behave this way because they've been allowed to behave this way. And the really sad thing about Rand Paul is he was being chased and they were yelling at him to say Breonna Taylor's name. As if, he needs to affirm that he believes that, her death was a tragedy, when he actually sponsored a law called Breonna Taylor's Law. And so it's just idiotic. And so I don't think Antifa is this, huge conspiratorial thing that's being funded by George Soros or anybody underneath to go out and, attack conservative things. I think it's a bunch of punks who like to get together and burn stuff and riot, and they've been allowed to do it for so long. They keep doing it. That's how bad actors work, right? When you give them room, they act badly. Imagine that.
I disagree. I think it's both. I think it's a bunch of punks who are allowed to get away with things, and you can find more punks, but I also think it's being organized at some level. Someone's paying for this stuff. Someone's keeping this thing going. Someone's organizing this. And I agree with Senator Paul. I think this is something the government should be looking into. I think they should be arresting these people, figuring out who they're communicating with on their phones. If someone's paying for them to travel out of state, stay in a hotel, and they're organizing, and particularly if these people are getting arrested previously, and we know in Portland they get arrested, they let them out without bail, they go out, they get arrested, they let them out, go out without bail, rinse, repeat. For an organization that could potentially be paying expenses for people to go out there, knowing that those people are criminals and are likely to commit criminal behavior, to me, constitutes a conspiracy. That's my thought on the subject.
I got to tell you, though, in Portland, they're not criminals because the district attorney specifically said he will not prosecute them.
That's true.
Go. And so they are not criminals. They have not been convicted of anything. They will be prosecuted.
Prosecutorial discretion is who knew that was going to be such a big weapon to wield?
Yep.